Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Bottom Line Sports Show, an inside look at all game day sports action. From Major League Baseball to college football and basketball, the NFL and the NBA. Key matchups, developments, point spreads and totals, line changes and game analysis. It's a radio show that talks its name. The Bottom Line from San Diego. It's game time with the Bottom Line Sports Show. We're off and running on this Sunday morning. Welcome, week number 5 NFL. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Bottom Line Sports Show. We are live in San Diego, and we are live from the WS Radio Network. Throughout the country, we go 2 great hours. First with the Bottom Line, followed by Track Talk. We'll talk all about what's developing in the world of sports. In the last 24 hours, it's been a flurry. And we begin by going to the Big Easy to check in with big Matty B. Matty B, top of the morning.
Good morning, Felix. Good morning, WS Radio Nation. What a day, what a day. Upsets galore. Had ALDS road win by the Yankees to even their series with the Red Sox, and it's the Yankees-Red Sox, so everyone wants that to go 5 because it's greatest rivalry in Major League Baseball history, and then a fight to end it all. And I'm not talking about in the octagon, Felix. I'm talking about over the cage and into the public. Just craziness reigned supreme on Saturday.
Yeah, it kind of made you feel like you were at the Palace.
You leave my Pistons out of it.
The Pistons, they went into the crowd, didn't they? They should.
That would be the artist formerly named Ron Artest and went into the crowd. But it was a Pistons fan who started it by throwing a cup of beer onto the man's chest while he's just trying to get some sun laying on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you a question, Matty B.
Yes, sir.
Can you spell LSU?
I can spell turnover.
You can spell Florida. Inside the studio we go. The captain ready to go on a Sunday.
Oh, what a great day of football yesterday. We had some really nice selections out there and some great horse racing. And, I want to tell you one person that really, really made me stand up and say a lot was Garrett Cole from the Houston Astros.
Wow.
What a monster this guy is. He is just something special.
Yep.
And because he's in Houston, he's under the radar. But I want to tell you, what an addition to that team he has been. And with him and Verlander there, they're just going to be extra tough.
You know who he played for before?
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Pirates.
nice.
He was the ace there.
Yeah.
He was there for the express sale when they got rid of McCutchen too.
Right.
And McCutchen went over to San Francisco for a 7th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
It's a yearly Pirate tradition.
Unbelievable.
No, it's not a yearly Pirate
Well,
tradition.
they are the Padres of the East.
Yearly Pirate tradition.
They're the Padres of the East. That's all I can tell you.
No, they're not the Padres in the East either.
No, they have great talent, and then they always trade it away.
That's the Padres.
And that could be ownership of the Pirates.
It's ownership of the Padres.
I mean, they lost 100 games for 20 years in a row. Do you realize that?
Well,
The Pirates or the Padres?
The Pirates, both.
both. They're, like I say, the Padres are the Pirates of the West.
Yep. Yeah, but, when they got rid of Bonds, or when Bonds signed with San Francisco, and then Barry Bonds or Bobby Bonilla, the Pirates were really good in those years, and I was talking to really funny. It was at the Del Mar racetrack, and I see this African-American man with a cross around his neck, and so I start talking to him, and I say, you look pretty familiar. I think we met before. And he says, hi, my name is David Justice. And I said, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, I followed your whole career. Matter of fact, I said, I remember the night when Barry Bonds couldn't throw Sid Bream out and got you to the World Series. And he goes, that rally in the 9th inning, I started that rally. and I'm the one that scored the tying run. And we went on and talked about, the great Barry Bonds. And, everyone I ask about Barry Bonds, and maybe I just have been in denial for a long period of time, but everyone I talk with Barry Bonds says he was a great, great, great baseball player. I don't remember Bonds being a great, great, great baseball player, but we'll leave that for a different show because we could talk.
Was he in the 40-40 club in Pittsburgh?
I don't know. I know that
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I know that he did a lot of PEDs because his head got so much bigger when I saw him in San Francisco. I left my heart in San Francisco. I left my PEDs back in Pittsburgh. All right, so now let me ask you this. We got a big, big day, week number 5 of the NFL. Captain and I coming up the elevator, coming into the studio, talking about the overs. Captain, over 58, 55, 52. I can't recall ever seeing totals of more than 50 on one game, let alone 3 or 4.
Well, Felix, let me put it to you this way: what the NFL has taken the formula from the NBA offense. You give us something to watch, we're going to watch it. We don't want to see a 13-10 game, a defensive struggle. No, we want to see them light up the board, and that's what they've done. And that's every day that they have, Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday. All the ratings are up. Everything is good. NFL is back, and I'm really glad to see it. What do you think, Matty?
The NFL has taken away, being able to play defense. It's plain and simple. We've seen it with the rule changes and the flags thrown. Clay Matthews has been hit a couple times this year for tackles that have no business having flags thrown on them. And we went from not knowing what a catch was, now we don't know what a tackle is. And you're going to get a lot more points when you allow these penalties to be called and you take away the ability to play defense. And we're seeing that, and we're going to see more offensive numbers just break like crazy. Records that should never be close to being touched are going to be shattered if you're not allowed to play defense in the NFL anymore.
Well, not to get off that subject, but turning to yesterday's game, Bob Hutton brought up an action play, which was New Mexico going into UNLV. And UNLV started at a 15-point favorite, and at radio time yesterday, it was down to 8.5, and New Mexico came into UNLV and absolutely smoked them.
That was one of the games. That was one of the games that I liked, UNLV. And then when I asked Bob about why did the line drop from 13.5 to 8, as Bob reiterated that the quarterback was out for UNLV. And then I looked at that score, and it was amazing. I want to get back to what we're talking about because let's get ready for some action. You got some real-time odds. We want real-time numbers. There's going to be some inclement weather throughout the country. But I agree with you, Matty B, wholeheartedly that the reason why these games are so high scoring right now, that the NFL has penalized defensive teams, protected the quarterback where these players are coming in. They don't know if they give a hit to the quarterback, if they're going to be flagged for a penalty for a late hit. And then you can't touch a receiver at all. So it's just like throwing to a spot on the field. It's almost like a video game, and that's why you have great quarterbacks in this game that are spot throwers and passers. Aaron Rodgers is one. I mean, Jared Goff is another one. You just have you just have point perfect quarterbacks throwing for spots, and the defensive players, the safeties and the DBs, aren't allowed to play defense. Updated on lines today.
Updated lines. Buffalo goes into Tennessee. Tennessee's a 5.5-point favorite, and that over-under is going to be 39.5.
Let's talk a little bit about that game.
Just to say, in the last 11 games that Tennessee has won, they have won it within 7 points. The spread's 5.5, 6 in some spots. Right now, looking at that edge, it tells you to lean to Buffalo. I don't like the game, so I'm going to walk away because Buffalo, you just never know. In Tennessee, on the road, you got to go there.
All right, the Ravens kicking it off on top of the board this Sunday, October the 7th, 2018. We welcome you no matter where you are. Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens are a 3-point favorite. This looks like a trap game to me.
Well, looking at this game, I like the over in this game, believe it or not. I think that Mayfield has come in and really supplied the Browns with that punch. They have the weapons now. And I look at Jarvis Landry have a real big game today. The Ravens on offense have been really, really steady and good. This is the best Joe Flacco's played for a while. And, looking at the Ravens defense, they're a different defense on the road. So I'm looking for this game to go over the number here. What do you think, Maddie?
I think with the Ravens and the Browns, you got to love this game. It's the Browns versus the Browns. And the Browns have beaten the Browns in Cleveland so many times in a row lately. I'm talking about the Ravens, of course. I don't think anything changes, even with Baker Mayfield, even with the upgrades that Cleveland has made defensively. Again, with the rules with the NFL, it's allowing Flacco to be better offensively. He's got weapons that he can use. And I agree with you on this one, Captain. I think over's the play.
Big game that a lot of people are talking about. Jacksonville going into Kansas City now. Jacksonville currently an underdog on the road, the total being 49. And Kansas City is favored by 3.
That's a big number there, 49. Jacksonville, the number 1 defense in the league, but Chiefs at home, and you have to like the way Mahomes played on Monday night. Looking at this game, I would have to take the Chiefs at home. I just think they're a quicker team than Jaguars. The Jaguars have seen all year, and I think the Chiefs are on the upside. What do you think, Maddie?
I think it's what you believe. Do you believe that Jacksonville is not going to let Patrick Mahomes get outside the pocket? If they keep him in the pocket, they have a greater chance of shutting this Chiefs offense down. Last week, Mahomes recorded 192 yards outside of the pockets against the Broncos defense. If the Jags can keep him from getting loose, then the Jaguars have a great chance of staying in this game and holding the Chiefs to less points, because Jaguars offensively, you just don't know what you're going to get. And Fournette's out, so Yeldon's taking the carries for Jacksonville. You don't know which Blake Bortles you're going to get. They don't really do back-to-back great offensive games. We haven't seen it yet, and they had a good offensive game last week, so you got to pretty much prepare them to not have one this week with the way they've been. And the Chiefs are the second hottest, maybe the hottest team in football, argument with the Rams there. One of the 2 best teams in football right now, and they're playing like it, and they had a great comeback against Denver when everyone thought they were dead in the water at that point. I like the Chiefs in this game. Mahomes is just too crafty. As good as Jacksonville's defense has been, I think Mahomes gets outside the pocket and does some magic.
Well, they knew what they were getting when they got rid of Alex Smith, without any question about it. The second-year man from Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes. Some say he's a better baseball player than he is a football player. That's hard to believe. But nevertheless, when you look at him and you look at what he brings to the table, he brings offensive firepower in a lot of different ways. He can run the ball. He's a terrific passer. He's mobile. You got to have 2 things in the NFL to win. You have to have a running game, and you have to have a defense. And I believe that's what wins championships. And, Kansas City, I know that they've gotten away from their power Andy Reid type of football, of running the ball down your throat, going back to his days in Philadelphia. But nevertheless, when I think about it, and I really do think about it, I think that what makes Patrick Mahomes what he is he has fantastic receivers and he has a running game. And that's what you need to do in the NFL. Jacksonville on the other side, even though they knocked out my Steelers last year in the playoffs, I still haven't bought into this team. Simply for the fact I haven't bought into their quarterback. As you mentioned, Matty B. Fournette is out. So I don't know what to make of this game. Neither do I know what to make of the next game we're going to be talking about. Tennessee Titans at the Buffalo Bills.
Tennessee Titan, Buffalo Bills. Like I was saying, this game right here, you have Josh Allen. Yeah, the kid is very green, and all you have is LaShawn McCoy out there. It looked like Tennessee gets their right tackle back today, and that's gonna really help them out and solidify that line. Mariota still having tingling in his hands, but he's doing what he can. And Tennessee's playing very well. I just don't trust them on the road. Like I said, last 11 games that they've played and won have been under 7 points. So, and with this high number, I'm just going to stay away from this game.
I think this is a Buffalo play right here.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's a trap.
I don't think Tennessee is. I know I don't want to use that word trap so many times. I just think that there are games which really force you one way or the other, and that would be a trap. I'm just trying to analyze team by team of what I've seen. Tennessee hasn't really been knocking the door down. Mariota, as you said, has been injured. However, they did beat the Philadelphia Eagles last week by making a big fourth down play. It was 4th and 16 or 4th and 19. Got the first down, kept the drive going. 3 plays later, Mariota hooks up in the end zone, and the Eagles go from what appeared to be a win to a loss. So Buffalo, Tennessee, not much action. New York Giants, Carolina Panthers, 6.5. Panthers and the Giants. What do you think about the 6.5 at home, Carolina, Matty B?
I think it's a Carolina play. The Giants can't score more than 18 points a game. That's what they're averaging right now. Carolina, coming off buys, averages over 30 points a game. It's at home. It's against a bad offense. It's against a good defense. And I don't see anything pointing towards the Giants getting the victory or staying within 10 points of the Carolina Panthers in this game.
All right. What was your record yesterday, Captain, in college football?
I was 2-0. I had Alabama at halftime. They're up 41-14, and they ended up getting a backdoor cover on the game, but I had the halftime and had the under on the Boise State-San Diego State game, 51.
All right. Now, last week, Matty B, you came in with some hot picks, and you guys have been doing very, very well. And give me a read as the phones ring inside the studio. Give me a read on the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets, Matty B.
Denver Broncos, New York Jets. Did you know that Keenum actually has more turnovers right now than Sam Darnold? Did you know that he has one less touchdown thrown than Sam Darnold?
Who?
This is weird numbers to think about when you talk about the Denver Broncos, who think of themselves as a playoff team. And you're going into New York. The Jets are an up-and-down team so far this year. Started off the season blazing hot, absolutely obliterate my Detroit Lions, 48-17, something like that. Sam Darnold looked fantastic. We watched Sam Darnold. We watched him for 3 years now, 2 years at USC, and now as a pro. And he's gonna Brett Favre it all the time. He's gonna make throws that make you scratch your head. Why did you throw that? Why didn't you throw it away? He has the ability to make magic on the field, and then he has the ability to give his opponents the ball game on the field. And I think with a Denver pass rush, with a Von Miller and the ability to cause havoc in the backfield, I think they're going to force Darnold into some throws that he shouldn't make, and I think Denver's going to take advantage of those throws.
Denver coming into the game now as a pick-em. This game has gone to a pick in 42.5. And talking about a pick, we got him on the line, straight from the desert in Arizona. HUT, Hut. Bob Hutton joining us. How you doing, Bob?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Did you have a good day yesterday?
Yeah, the ones I gave you 4-1. Was disappointed I couldn't get the last game home, but you watch some of these games, and I was watching Cal, and they turned the ball over 4 times in the second half. And if you include a going for it at the 2-yard line of Arizona on a 4th and 1 and not getting it, and I would count 5 turnovers. So hard to win when you turn the ball over 5 times in the second half.
One thing we can't count for in this business anytime.
No, it's tough. But it is what it is, and this is a new day. So what do we know?
Well, we know a lot, actually, and that's why we're here. We're here to bring it to the listeners who are on board, who are following along. We know a couple things that when FT says the 3.5 is a trap, like Syracuse and Pittsburgh, he means it's a trap, okay? And we talked about this game yesterday, and you said, well, would you have liked Syracuse to be a 6 or 7 point favorite rather than a 3.5? Yes, I would have. That would have indicated to me that maybe the odds makers believed that Syracuse was that much better than Pittsburgh. But when they made it 3.5, it was it was all over. And Temple, they just scored again. And so now they have scored 98 points, as you mentioned, Bob Hutton.
205-3.
That was just incredible. I mean, I looked at that score, and you said, and I disputed. I said, well, Temple, man. They're getting better. And I went, Temple, they're getting better. Felix, they're really showing that they're coming to life. And boy, they did come to life. We can talk about a lot of great action that took place. And when we come on the radio, we talk a lot about, the betting lines. And the line on the Alabama-Arkansas game was 35. It closed at 35. Alabama wins by 34. How did they get it so close?
I don't know, but what we were talking about too was playing those games in the first half, and Alabama actually covers the spread in the first half. I thought it was 21 or something like that, and then they coast in the second half. They're really, if you watch them play this year, they're dominant in the first quarter. I mean, if you could ever bet a game in the first quarter, bet Alabama minus whatever the number is, because they're usually up 21-0 after 15 minutes. So as far as the odds makers are, it's pretty amazing how close they get, but we're looking for the ones that they miss. That's those are the good ones, Felix, that I think they're off on. And that's what yesterday when I told you I love Texas, Oklahoma's defense they just reared their head yesterday and just showed why you cannot take a team laying points that can't stop the other team. It's just too tough to cover that number, even though as talented as Oklahoma is on offense, it's a major Achilles heel on defense. And it was mentioned yesterday that the Big 12, all you got to do is bet over in those games. And you're probably right. The betting over in the Big 12 games, there's no defense at all.
Well, that's what I said yesterday, that they're going to make defense a declared major at the Big 12 schools of Oklahoma and Texas, because they don't have any of it. Matty B and I have been talking about this away from the radio program, that it just amazes us how a conference could play no defense at all and just don't have any pride. And Alabama, that kid, the quarterback, I remember walking in, or a captain was telling me, or maybe captain told you as well, the whole radio world, that he was 7 for 8 for 244 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, hold on a second, Felix. He has 18 touchdowns this year and 25 incompletions. 18 touchdowns and 25 incompletions. And, like I said yesterday, like Bob reiterated, first half Alabama, I was there, and that was the play in the under in Boise State. San Diego State surprised me. Boise State surprised me because they had no feng shui. They didn't come to play yesterday. And San Diego State, gritty defense, just doing what it takes, grinding it out another win. Bob, great calls yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, you did. And I want to jump in here and talk about, because we talked about the Boise State and the San Diego State game. And, it appears to me more than not that when teams come in, like, injured, like San Diego State came in without their quarterback, and you said their running back was out,
Right.
and then I kept on saying that Rocky Long was a defensive coach, and that number I felt was too big, 14. I said it yesterday. It's just that these are college kids, and they play down. They play down. They start reading the news clippings, and they start seeing exactly, that, hey, they're being patted on the back, and then they get out in the field, and they can't perform because they can't get themselves back up. You agree with that, Bob?
Oh yeah, it's and also too, it has to do a lot with the coaching staff to get the kids that, like San Diego State, ready that have injuries, and next man up, let's go, and not to go in with a defeated attitude. I mean, sometimes you just see these teams that have their starting quarterback out, they're beat before they even get on the field. And Rocky Long did a good job getting his team ready yesterday, and we all agreed that we thought the under was the play because that San Diego defense they're tough. They tackle well, they run to the ball well, they cover well. There's not a hole really in that defense, and I tip my hat to Long to get those kids ready to play yesterday because it looked like it was stacked against them as far as their premier offensive guys out, and they stepped up. And it's not like they won 7-3. They scored 19 points, which is, I think that's pretty respectable. I didn't think they would score 19 points yesterday, to be honest with you.
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what is in line for the second half of the bottom line. Congratulations, San Diego State. When we return, Matty B in the Big Easy. Bob Hutton is in Phoenix, Arizona. The captain inside the studio. The Bottom Line Sports Show right after this. You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple, and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Cybersecurity is the fastest growing job sector. The SoCal Cyber Cup Challenge encourages kids to consider computer security as an interesting course of study and a valuable career path. Securing Our eCity helps lead this youth competition to create interest and awareness among students and their schools. The SoCal Cyber Cup Challenge. Learn more at securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Bottom Line Sports Show, an inside look at all game day sports action. From Major League Baseball to college football and basketball, the NFL and the NBA, key matchups, developments, point spreads and totals, line changes and game analysis. It's a radio show that talks its name. The Bottom Line from San Diego. It's game time with the Bottom Line Sports Show. All right, we're back here, second half of the radio program. In the Big Easy is Matty B, Phoenix, Arizona, Bob Hutton, and the captain inside the studio. We go to Pittsburgh, boys. This is the game of the morning without any question. This is a must game early on in the season for both these teams, and I am a little bit concerned about my Steelers, as I have been over the past several weeks. Bob Hutton, Atlanta Steelers. How do you see this one?
Well, last week I liked Baltimore over Pittsburgh in the night game, and the Steelers, they've got a lot of issues as far as on the defensive side of the ball. They haven't been able to stop anybody this year. And Flacco the other night, if they got stopped, it was usually because someone dropped the ball or he made a bad pass or there was a penalty. But this week they're playing the Falcons, and the Falcons have some issues on defense too, Felix. They got a lot of injuries. They haven't been able to stop anybody, and this might be the biggest total I've ever seen in a pro game at 57. I can't remember when I've seen something that high before. So you got two defenses that can't stop anybody, and you got two offenses that are pretty good. And I would tell you, bet the over.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. Captain and I walking out of the elevator this morning. We're heading down to the studio, and I turned to him and said, 58? Have you ever seen a 58?
Well, the thing is, Felix, anytime you see a number that big, it always goes under. It's up to 58 now, Bob, by the way. This line opened up Pittsburgh 4.5, and now it's down to 3. This game right here, it looks like an over because you have Roethlisberger, he's averaging 350 yards a game, and then you have what the offensive explosion we witnessed between Cincinnati and Atlanta last week. You could just imagine what happens now they get Devontae Freeman back. So I look for this game to go over in this game, and that's just really a big game. Let's talk about the other one.
Hold on. Matty B. We talk about this, and we talk about games like this. We talked about the big numbers. You shared with us in regard to why the big numbers are the big numbers, because the NFL is protecting the quarterback and they're allowing the wide receivers to get free and you can't put a hand on them. What's your take in regard to this game?
Well, your Steelers know all about that, Felix. They lead the league in penalties by 7. They have allowed 12 passing touchdowns through 4 games. So you're averaging 3 a game in the air alone. And the Steelers are a byproduct of what's going on in the NFL. They're not allowed to play defense, so they're not playing defense. And offensively, as talented as they are, you're only averaging under 3 yards per rush recently with Connors. So, you have this all-world talent who leads the NFL in basically every statistical category since 2013 in Le'Veon Bell. And if you had him right now, I feel a lot better about the Steelers, and I bet you wouldn't be 1-2-1 right now in the regular season. You got 2 teams with a whole bunch of offense, The Falcons already have offense, but now they're getting Devontae Freeman back. You got two teams that can't stop the other team's offense, so the over absolutely looks like it should be the play here. A 31-28 game, that's a reasonable score for this game. That's the over right there.
What was the two things that I said to you that you needed in order to win championships in the NFL?
I don't remember.
Running game and defenses, Felix.
Thank you, Captain. I mean, it was like 13 minutes ago, Matty B. Okay, that I said that you.
A long time ago.
I said you had to have a running game and you had to have a defense to win in the NFL. The Steelers have not performed on the running game level outside their first week when Connors ran over a hapless Cleveland defense who was a little scattered at that point in time, opening game. They haven't. You know how many? They haven't been anything, to tell you the truth. Do you know how many rushes they had last week?
Was it under 15?
It was 11 rushes. You know how many yards they gained?
25?
18. 11 rushes, Bob Hutton. 18 yards. You got to have a running game.
Well, they should have run the ball 100 times. He would have got over 100 yards rushing.
Maybe. Maybe.
That's what my Lions needed to do for the last 71 games. You know, they should have just kept rushing him more.
This game is as big as any early season game for Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh has lost their identity. And, you know, I'm a lifelong Pittsburgh Steeler fan. And I want to tell you something. I can't even relate to this team. It's amazing.
Yeah. The season? Yeah. And Felix, I don't think talk about this game. What do you think the records we would have guessed for this game? Both 3-1?
What's that?
If before the season started, we go, Falcons, Steelers. Both teams should be 3-1 for that game.
Yeah, that's
good absolutely.
Call. Good call.
Bob Hutton, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that I know one thing I couldn't do in this game today is play the Steelers. I know I couldn't do that. You know, I would think that if I was going to make a play on the actual game, it would be on Atlanta, just because I'd rather take the 3 that it's at now than give 3 with the Steelers. I just don't see the Steelers. I just can't see him as a favorite right now with that defense is so bad, and it doesn't look like they have any major injuries, so it can't get any better.
Well, Shazier is the major injury.
Well,
and,
he'll never play again, though.
Well, it's unfortunate. Yeah, we don't know that.
No, he won't play again. I don't think.
You don't know that.
No, he's got to live his life, man. He's lucky to be alive and be upright.
You know that,
right?
He's lucky to be that. So, he's done. God
okay,
bless him.
all right. Let's move out. Let's move out of that realm. But let me share this. When they lost him, he was the heart and soul of that defense.
Oh, they lost their identity. Yeah, when they lost him, there's no doubt.
All right, so I still think that there's so much talent in that locker room, but they've been divided. Last year it was with the national anthem. This year it was with Le'Veon Bell. And
by the way, he's coming back after week 8.
Yeah, I know that. Just like you said, Earl Thomas got traded to the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, to the Dallas Cowboys last week. Are you giving us some good fake news or what?
That was pretty good.
Okay, that was pretty good. Yeah, I went through the papers and then I saw him getting carted off as a Seattle Seahawk, and I thought,
I got taken in by the fake news.
Yeah, well, you report that Earl Thomas was traded to the Dallas Cowboys, and by stroke of genius, I look up on the TV and he's being carted off. And he's wearing a Seattle, and I'm thinking, did the captain just report to the sports, the Bottom Line sports show that he was traded? Listen, in retrospect, I've been on both sides of this Le'Veon Bell, and I'm very, very emotional about it. At first, I thought, well, $14 million, how could you snicker at $14 million? But when you see these other position players, like Aaron Rodgers or Joe Flacco or whoever it might be, are getting these great contracts over $100 million, I'm thinking, you know what? The guy is Pittsburgh football. he has carried over 400 times last year. And if he's your star player, you pay him. And that's why the Padres are having problems, and that's why the Pirates have problems, because they do not pay their help. I give the Steelers the benefit of the doubt. Wouldn't you say so, Matty B?
No, they're idiots. They're absolutely morons. This is the best running back in the NFL. The best. Todd Gurley, phenomenal player, still not on Le'Veon Bell's level. Kareem Hunt, phenomenal player, not on Le'Veon Bell's level. Ezekiel Elliott, phenomenal player, nowhere near Le'Veon Bell's level. What he gives you running the ball, receiving the ball, blocking, he is all over the place for this team. And you watch and you see Todd Gurley get a guaranteed $45 million deal. And if you're Le'Veon Bell, and we know running backs, you have 3 years. That's your average in the NFL for a running back, his 3-year career. So you have got to get paid while you can. And yes, $14 million is, quote-unquote, getting paid, but you know what? He knows what he's worth, and he's worth a lot more than that. He's worth about 3 times that, actually, if you look at what Gurley got.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, let's turn to the game.
No, I don't want to turn to the game. Yeah, we're still talking about this, okay?
Bell, you're getting rid of $875,000 a week, and you're supposed to.
This is very important. This is like an election day here. I don't want. What game do you want to talk? What game do you want to talk about?
Packers Lions.
Packers Lions. Who cares about the Packers Lions?
I want to know about Aaron Rodgers and who he's going to throw the ball to, because he's losing his wide receivers left and right. How do you bet this game when Aaron Rodgers, who's all-world phenomenal, has no one to give the ball to?
Those are your Lions, man. Those are your Lions. They are poor. Those Lions are a bad football team.
To be able to stop Aaron Rodgers when he's got no one to throw the ball to, he's got nothing but rookie wide receivers, right?
You know, I don't even pay attention to that game. You want to talk about a game? Let's go to the Vikings and the Eagles, okay? Here we are.
NFC title game.
All right. So, Captain, who do you like in this game? I mean, you're going to go ahead and interrupt us, and when we're talking about the Steelers, how a big decision is preventing them from moving forward, and you want to talk about the Packers and the Lions. Nobody in the world has any interest outside of Matty B in this game.
Well, I'll tell you, Eagles in Minnesota, that's a 3-point spread. Eagles are, and the over-under is 47.
All right, who's favored?
Eagles are at home -3.
All righty. So essentially it's an even game. So how do you look at it?
I like what I see out of Minnesota last week, even though the running back is out this week. I like the passing attack. They didn't have a running attack anyway, and you're going against the number 1 rushing defense in NFL in the National Football League.
Who?
In the Eagles.
The Eagles are the number 1 defensive football?
Rushing defense.
And what has happened to Minnesota's defense? Weren't they just like, the godfather of NFL defense, Bob Hutton?
They've got a lot of this is a key in the NFL every week. They've got a lot of injuries, and Griffin, their star defensive lineman, is he's mentally incapacitated, so he's not playing today, and Cooks he's out, and they've got some holes in that team right now, and that's one of the games I really like today, because I think the Eagles they really need to win this game, and I'm not going to put the revenge factor that Minnesota got trounced by him last year in the NFC Championship game. I think that Philadelphia is a better balanced team. I think with Wentz back, it gives them a better chance to score more points, and I don't like this Minnesota team on the road today. I like the Eagles.
I could tell you that during the summer, I had an opportunity to sit with Norv Turner, and Norv was the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings before he resigned, and now he's the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. And so, whatever that's worth, I asked him about the Zimmer, the coach at Minnesota, and off the cuff, Norv rolls his eyes, and I said, like, why'd you do that? He goes, well, the guy's kind of goofy, and you're kind of you kind of feel that tension with Minnesota this year. They trade for Cousins, and they get Cousins and they sign Cousins, and and they had a pretty nice unit last year. But once again, as we talk about, injuries week to week decimate teams so bad that Matty B, it really gets you out of who you are when you don't perform like you did last year.
Oh, absolutely. And it's hard to repeat as a phenomenal defense when the NFL keeps changing defensive rules, and you don't even know what you're allowed to do anymore. Every hit is a questionable hit. Flags are thrown left and right, and so I don't care how great your defense is. You throw the 85 Bears in here right now, and they're going to be allowing 30 points a game and having guys thrown off the field left and right. So defense is hard to do right now. The Eagles' defense, for whatever reason, is much better at home. I mean, twice as good at home. It's one thing to be better at home. Most teams are. But to be twice as good at home on defense, they're allowing 14 points a game at home, 28 points per game on the road. They're able to figure something out, at least on the home side of things. And, you can throw the revenge thing out the window. It's a new quarterback for Minnesota, and that's the guy that's going to be marching the ball down the field. I think Philly's just too talented in this game at home, and both teams need this win. I'll take the home team needing the win.
All right, what about Utah at Stanford?
That altitude got to Stanford, man. I told you.
I'm telling you, baby.
That altitude. That Stanford team couldn't play in that altitude.
No, they could not play at that Palo Alto. Those trees were too big. Those trees were too big. And who gave Utah at Stanford out? Hello?
I don't even think we talked about it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Are you Matty B? Because
we have a memorable quote to remember that we talked about.
Oh yeah. They're going the altitude.
Okay, thank you very much. I did give Utah. I liked Utah because of the altitude that they were. They play perfect football up in Palo Alto. When Utah loves to play at that elevation.
Bob Hutton, the Oakland Raiders go into the San Diego Chargers at Carson. Chargers are favored by 5, over under 53. What's your take on that game?
Wow, there's another team that the Chargers offensively are loaded and can't stop anybody, and the Raiders are defensively handicapped, and so once again I see this as a high-scoring game, and I think that the Chargers. I'd take a side. I'd take the Chargers because I don't think the Raiders are very talented. But I would play the over here in a second. I think they're going to be running up and down the field and chucking it all over the place.
Remember 38, 39, and 40 used to be big numbers.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I mean those would be the numbers of. There are only one. There's only 2 games. Arizona Cardinals and the 49ers are right at 40, and Buffalo and Tennessee are at 38. I'm looking at these numbers, 48, 52, 47, 57, 43, 49, 45. Those are big. 51. It's just incredible.
And they should be.
Yeah.
They should be that high.
Well,
yeah.
that's basically what the captain says, that they wanted to be able to would they be able to open up their offenses, and so they want to be able to get that wow factor back in the NFL.
Well, they've got it. I mean, it's there.
And the ratings show it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the ratings are. What do you mean the ratings show what?
The ratings are up this year in the NFL.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right about that.
Offense plays a huge factor in that.
Well, I think I don't think that's it. I think people are just lovers of football, and they want to see football.
They weren't lovers of football last year.
Not really. They didn't like it. They didn't like it as much as they do this year. That offense is where they want to go. And speaking of offense, you got the LA Rams going into Seattle. Rams right now are 7 to 7.5 in some spots, over under 50. Matty B, what's your take?
Jared Goff leads the league at over 7 yards per play, has the most completions of 20-plus yards of any quarterback. And he is loaded with talent all around him. From Todd Gurley, who's the best running back playing football right now because Le'Veon Bell is sitting on the sidelines waiting for the Steelers to get their head out of their asses. He's got wide receivers left and right. They brought in Brandon Cooks, who is a fly down the field, just throw it up, I'll get it kind of player. I don't see how a Seahawks defense that's losing players left and right, has no identity offensively, is going to be able to keep pace with the Rams even in Seattle. I understand that their 12th man is going to be loud and rocking, but at some point you just got to have the guys on the field, and right now this does not look like Seattle has the guys on the field.
And this game really has very limited interest in regard to, any playoff races because the Rams are 4-0 in the West. But I want to get back to the Clippers. The Chargers and the Raiders. This game opened up 7.5. Has been bet down to 5. 52 is the total.
Can't figure that out.
What's that?
I can't figure that out. The Raiders are starting 2 rookies at their offensive tackle position. So they got rookies trying to block for Derek Carr. And you've got the biggest nemesis in the history of the Oakland Raiders. No quarterback has done more to Oakland than Phillip Rivers. Passing yards-wise, touchdowns-wise, he has the most for any Raider opponent in franchise history. The man loves to put up numbers against this Raider defense, and he's got weapons to do it with. Mike Williams, bouncing back from last year's leg injury, has looked fantastic. And Antonio Gates is getting back into the mix even, the ageless wonder that he is. And Rivers is having a phenomenal year. I said it last week that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now with the way that he is able to sling the ball, with his precision, with his yardage, with his lack of turnovers compared to touchdowns. I think the Chargers should romp this road game in L.A. because there's going to be more Raider fans there than Charger fans.
Well, did you hear what happened last weekend at the StubHub Center when they were entertained to the 49ers and the Chargers and CBS back in New York said, "Hey, can you change the lens of your cameras and put some blue?" And they said, "Why?" Because they said the whole stadium is red, and it's just that the Chargers have not. The Chargers play 16 away games every season as long as they're going to be up there. And the Rams, they played the Rams, and the Rams, the Rams dominate now. They dominate. They're getting 85, 90,000. You're only going to get 28,000 at this game. But there has to be something more about this game, and I'm really intrigued about the Raiders and the Chargers. I want to ask you, have you guys got onto the injury report list? And Bob Hutton, you might be best to know. The Chargers have to have some major injuries. Where do they come from?
Well, when who knows when Bosa's going to show up?
Bosa's gone for till at least the 8th week.
Right, and so he's not a factor. They're having a hard time getting the pass rush, and their defensive backs are just average, and so that's the issue they have on offense. They were really, if you really watched that game last week with San Francisco probably outplayed them as far as Beathard was concerned. He played a good game, and they made a lot of big plays on offense, and this team just has some defensive holes in it. It's just not very good. They can get to the passer once in a while, but if they don't, that defensive backfield just gives up big plays, and that's what their issue is. And they, like most teams, they put a lot of value in certain parts of their team, and the Chargers did it on their defensive line. And when Bosa is not in there, it really kind of hurts them big time as far as giving up big plays on the back end. So I think this game is, to me, it looks like an over. It's the only reason it scares me betting over. It looks too obvious. But to me, they're just going to give up too many big plays because they don't have the defensive backs to stop anybody.
All right, best bets quickly. Who's your best bet, Bob?
Well, the game that I'm going to, once again, Felix, I'm going to give you my best bets, okay? I love the over in the Rams and Seattle game. The Rams got a lot of talent on offense, and they still got their 2-star cornerbacks that are hurt, and that was exposed against Minnesota. And now they play Seattle, and Seattle lost Earl Thomas because he got traded to Dallas the previous week. So they're going to throw up a lot of points there. And I like Seattle to cover that number. So I like Seattle in the over in that game. I like Philadelphia, and I like over in the San Francisco game.
All right. Captain, what do you like?
Okay, I like over in the San Diego-Oakland game, 53. Under on
Slow it
Denver.
down. Oakland and the Chargers.
Over 53.
It's now 52. Go ahead.
Under on Denver and the New York Jets, 42.5, I believe.
42.
And the L.A. Dodgers today.
Go ahead.
Matty B, and the L.A. Dodgers. That's my other play.
I'm going with the over with the Steelers and the Falcons. Those two teams can score a lot, and they can't stop a nosebleed.
All righty. We'll cue it up next weekend, guys. Have a good one. We will talk real soon. Until then, adios. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Matty. Thanks, Captain. We'll see you then. Almost everywhere you go. Now, WSRadio.com can be there, too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple, and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.